Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're going to learn to create some animations that we can use on our YouTube channel or any other platform. As you see, we're going to learn how to create this nice lower third animation for our channel name to show our channel name on the screen. And also we're going to create a subscribe animation like this. So let's get started. So let's first create the lower third animation. I'm gonna click the rectangle shape since we're gonna need a background for our channel title or logo, right? I'm gonna just resize it to something that makes sense and check if the corner radius is maximized. And I'm gonna add something generic like channel name with text. Channel name, of course, make it smaller and change its color. I'm gonna make it smaller and fix the alignment. I'm gonna place my channel name / logo to where I want it to stay during the whole on-screen time. And I guess something like this looks okay, right? So next step is going to be animating things, right? So first I need background to enter the screen. So I'm gonna click after selecting the element that I want to animate, I'm gonna click the animation, and since this is going to be intro part or entering to screen part of my animation, I'm gonna click in, and a simple slide in is going to do the job, right? After adding the slide in animation, I'm just hitting the play button. As you see, background gets animated. So next thing that we're going to animate is going to be our channel name, right? After selecting it, I'm gonna click the animation once more and select in, and once again slide in. But this time I'm gonna change direction to the bottom. Other settings can stay the same. So let's check what's happening here. As you see, they are both animated at the same time. We don't want that actually. What I need here is the background entering the scene first. I'm gonna turn the layer timing on to see the timelines of layers. So I'm gonna check the animation by browsing the timeline. As you see, both elements are being animated at the very same time, as I said. What we need here is, after background entering the screen, the channel name to be animated after that. So in order to do that, during my tests I realized placing individual elements animations with 0.5 seconds increments or intervals makes sense, since our animations in this example also happens around 0.5 seconds. It looks really good. Since I edited the timeline of the channel name this way to be animated right after the background, when I go to the very beginning of the animation and press play, as you see, the background slides in the screen and then channel name appears. So I think this whole animation's duration or timeline is 5 seconds right now, as we see also here. We also need an outro part of our animation, right? So we need the elements that we are animating also exit the screen. We kinda need to reverse the intro part of our animation. That's actually where things get a little tricky. So let me just quickly show you by duplicating this scene. In order to reverse our intro animation, what I need is channel name exiting the screen first and then taking the background out of the screen, right? So in order to do that, I need to select the channel name and clicking the out, add a slide out animation. Since our channel name was coming from the top, I need to send it back to top. In the outro part of my animation, I can do that just by selecting the direction and leaving other settings exactly the same. And then after animating that, I need my background to exit the screen. Actually, I'm editing the slide in right now. I need the background also exit the screen right after the channel name. In order to do that, after selecting the background, what I need to do is clicking the out and selecting slide again and checking the slide out part and selecting left as direction to reverse the animation. Let's hit play and see what happens. They're both exiting the screen at the same time. What I need to do is clicking the channel name, which is the element that I need to exit the screen first, and making its timeline 0.5 seconds shorter. So that way my elements enter and exits the screen in a way that makes sense. I mean, the intro part is perfectly reversed at the outro part of the animation, right? But this is unfortunately not a flexible solution, and we're gonna see why in a second. Let's say I want to edit the duration of my lower third animation. I want it to be longer. So let's hit play and see what happens. As you see, channel name leaves the screen way before the background, since the outro part of the animation or out animations are added to the very end of the timeline. Let's select the background's timeline. As you see, it has the same length with the main animation timeline. So in this case, just to make my animation longer, I will need to edit also channel name timeline and make it longer, just shorter, 0.5 seconds from the main timeline or background layers timeline. Imagine you have more than 2 layers. Things would get even more complicated, right? So in order not to deal with it, what I find practical and flexible is keeping the intro and outro timelines separate. As you see, if I want to change the, let's say this is the correct form of the outro animation. In order to edit my lower third animation's length, I would just need to edit the intro part's timing, and that way the whole animation's length would be edited. So let's make it longer again and see it is working perfectly. You see, as their timing differences is at the very beginning, even if I make the intro scene's length shorter than some layers timings, it doesn't get affected whenever I make the intro scene's duration longer. So I click play, and as you see, intro section works perfectly. In order to complete the outro part of our animation, I'm gonna remove the in part of the animations and just do the out parts. So I'm selecting the text elements since we need to reverse the intro part of our animation, and remove the in part and leave the slide out part. Of course, since our text needs to exit the screen first, let's make the duration of this animation actually 1.5 seconds. I'm gonna take the duration of the channel name layer to 0.5 seconds and remove the in part of the animation, since all we need is the outro part of the animation, and keep the out part of the animation for the background as well. So let's play our animation from the very beginning. So everything appears on the screen, and this, what I'm seeing is actually there's a flickering or flashing of the channel name, right? Yeah, okay. So we need channel name to be visible during the whole outro part. So let's play the outro part again. Yeah, everything works perfectly. So let's make it a little longer, like 2 seconds for the sake of this demonstration, something that is not long. Yep, works perfectly. Let's also do a subscribe animation with 3 elements. That would help us to understand the animation basics better. So I'm gonna click the add button to add a new page and select the same size. So I have my second page. I'm gonna just type subscribe to give page a title, and I'm gonna add a rectangle again, which is going to be the background that we're going to use for our elements. I'm gonna make it smaller, remove the border, and add a thumbs up icon to it first. This one looks good, right? I'm gonna change its color, of course, and make it smaller. While I'm at icon step, I'm gonna search for also bell icon. And I'm also going to add a subscribe text. Of course, I'm gonna change its color and make it smaller and edit the size of my background. After selecting 3 of my elements, I'm gonna click Align and distribute the items horizontally. And I'm gonna group them. Select also the background and align my items to the center so we can start animating things. So first I want the background to enter to the scene from the button. In order to do that, I'm gonna select the background and click on animation, and then click in and then slide and animate it from the button, and rest of the settings are going to stay the same. So let's see what's happening. As you see, my background quickly appears on the screen. So after the background, I want thumbs up icon to appear on the screen. So I'm clicking the thumbs up icon and animation and in, and slide again. I want thumbs up icon to come from the top, like this. But what I need to do is making sure that animation starts at 4.5 seconds mark, which is half a second after the background animation. So let's check the animation once more. Background appears, and half a second later the thumbs up appears, sliding from the top. So the next element that I want to appear on the screen is subscribe, which is going to also slide in, but I want it to come from the bottom. Since I want subscribe to appear third on the screen after the previous two elements, at the 4 seconds mark, I'm dragging the beginning of its timeline to 4 seconds mark. Let's check real quick. Background, thumbs, and subscribe. Okay, perfect. Last thing that I'm going to animate is going to be the bell icon, right? So I want it to slide in, since subscribe was sliding in from the bottom. This is going to also slide in from the top. But again, I need to drag the beginning of this layer's timeline to right after the subscribe text, and 0.5 seconds later the subscribe text. Let's check the whole intro animation from the very beginning. Yeah, perfect. All we need to do is now completing the outro part of our animation, or reversing the intro part, or the way our elements appear on the screen, right? The easiest way to do that is duplicating the intro scene as a whole and clicking somewhere in the middle to make sure all of the elements are visible on the screen, and reversing the animation and extend the layers timelines to the very beginning, since we need them to be on the screen at all times at the outro part of our animation, right? So I'm gonna do that for every element that we have. So in order to reverse our animation, all I need to do is click the last animated item and animate it out of the screen, right? In this case, it's going to be the bell icon, and there's a sliding animation from the top. So I'm removing the in part of the animation and clicking the out and clicking the slide. So I'm gonna send it to top, right? But since I want this to be removed first, I'm gonna do it right after the outro part of my animation starts, and I'm just gonna reduce its duration to 0.5 seconds to make sure that it exits the screen, and to make sure its outro animation occurs first. So I'm gonna click the preview. So other elements, slide-in animations still remain, but that shouldn't confuse us since we're going to remove them. So let's check the subscribe text. So it comes from the bottom. I'm gonna remove the in part of the animation and click the out and click slide and send it to bottom. And I'm gonna make sure that its outro animation happens as the second animation, or it gets animated secondly, and edit its timeline to have 1 second length, as we are placing animations after one another with 0.5 seconds steps or intervals or increments. I don't know the exact term here, but yeah, I'm sure you got my point. So let's check if the animation of our first two elements occurs in the order that we want. Yep. So in the outro part of our animation, the third element that we need to do animated is going to be thumbs up icon, right? So I'm selecting it and clicking its animation, and it's coming from the top. I'm removing the in part of the animation, clicking the out and selecting the slide again and sending it to top. And I want this animation to happen right after the subscribe text, or 0.5 seconds after it, which is going to happen at 1.5 seconds mark, right? Let's check if the animation of our three elements is happening in the way we want. Yeah, perfect. And the last element that we need to exit the screen is the background. I want that to happen right after the thumbs up icon, which exits the screen at 1.5 seconds mark. So that means duration of our outro animation needs to be 2 seconds, since the last element that we are going to animate is going to be the background. So after clicking the background, I'm gonna click the animation and click the out, click the slide, and it was coming from the bottom. I'm gonna send it to bottom. The rest of the settings are going to stay the same. So let's check our outro animation once more. Yeah, perfect. Let's check the whole animation altogether. There they appear on the screen and exits the screen the way we want. As I said, we can perfectly edit the whole duration of our animation just by changing the intro part's duration, right? Without affecting anything else. Let's say I want to keep the intro part as short as 2 seconds. All I need to do is reduce the duration of the intro part to 2 seconds and click play. Yeah, perfect. One thing to remember though, as of now, as far as I know, it's not possible to export animations in Express with a transparent background, but all you need to do is to be able to add these animations to your videos in your video editing tool as a green screen animation. You would just need to change the background color of the artboard to something that simulates a green screen, right? Something like this. I know it looks awful now, but some color like this would work to add this animation to your video as a green screen animation. So yeah, something to keep in mind. As you see, you can easily create animations even if you are someone who never did any animations in any other tools. You can easily create some animations in Adobe Express and use them as you like. I'm gonna publish this file as a template and share the link to template in the description below. So see you in the next tutorial.